to this week's Blog to Watch Weekly. You are the lucky people that get to listen to this on YouTube as a live recording. If you listened to this live recording, you already know where it is, so there's not really much point in advertising it. But if Hayden decides to leave this in the edit by way of an educational item, then you can listen to it live on the Blog to Watch Weekly live channel, or in fact, also on the Blog to Watch channel in the live section. So good morning to you all. I am Rick, and who are you, Mr. Sellers?
Who am I?
Who am I? Yeah, philosophical
Spoiler
question.
alert.
Who are you?
I've been asking this question all my life.
Well, now's your time to answer it. What's the best answer you've come up with so far?
I've been called many names.
My name is Amigo Montoya. Prepare to die.
We need your Montoya impression, Rick, on every episode from now on. That's just a thing.
I just made this an impression show if you want.
Why did it take
Very
195 episodes for that talent to reveal itself?
My name is... I can't remember the guy's name, let alone his name. Anyway, Ripley, how are you this morning?
I'm well.
Good. David, how are you? Significantly
Very well. I will
haircut.
I will cease to have electricity in about 30 minutes. So very exciting.
Excellent. Welcome to Eastern Europe, or no? Is it some other reason?
It's maintenance. It's not a thing in the West. It's just only we have money for it.
That's right. Rather than just waiting for it to break, you actually maintain it. Good stuff. Good morning, Ariel. How are you?
I'm good. This is the last of 3 podcasts I've done in a 24-hour period. Haven't got much else done. So I'm excited. I love podcasting.
Yay!
I love podcasting.
So does Borisic's time. He is in the chat as the lucky one to join us live. Well done. Sticking to the...
Nothing like the smell of podcast in the morning.
Yeah, morning, exactly. How many movies? Maybe let's just do how many... I'm feeling. What's
You're
the
feeling
word?
a feeling. I like that.
I'm feeling a feeling. I'm trying to be a man and get my feelings out. I'm not sure. I saw Hamilton last night. So
that could be so many things.
The brand, the play.
No, the play. Yeah, the play much more preferable than the brand in my opinion. But yes, I saw the play last night. Or the musical, very, very good. King George steals the show. I'm sorry. Have the 3 of you seen it?
I have not.
Negative.
You're not seen how? I thought like it was the way you educated
lived it.
folk. You lived it. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. All right, well, we'll leave my Hamilton analysis to later. But though I think it needs a podcast all of its own. So maybe I'll leave this one and go and do a Hamilton podcast. So if you like to vote for that in the chat.
What exactly is a Hamilton podcast by Rick?
Yeah, or is it about the watches? We can do a Hamilton podcast. They have plenty of crossover releases.
Okay. I've already got our What You Like for this week.
Oh,
it will be musicals.
Can we do Broadway reviews? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, Broadway. But you're not allowed to have Hamilton as the watch that goes with Hamilton. That's the one rule. So it has to be something else. Okay. So that'll be for next week. So you can tune in for that delight next week. Anyway, let's give some clappage to the show this week. We have a couple of options that we've discovered through the week. Our first up, an easy one would have been this from the global sellout that is now Nico, who is now shilling for Seagull Design, which I think particularly upset David. He's an angry man if ever there was one. Countries that are ruining Swiss watchmaking, whatever that is. So he is now fronting Seagull Design, their lovely 1900 Black Star watches. Oh, and there's a picture of Donald Trump for some reason. But there we go. So this could have won it. David, why should this have won the clappage for this week? The ironic clapping. You're muted. So
why is his only prop a computer?
It's like that looks like he stole it from IKEA, probably. You know?
Is it a real computer? Yes. Yeah.
So no, my response was not a real manufacturer. You know, because he's like, you know, he was just scrapping an Hublot, just because it's not a real manufacturer, in his opinion. And then he goes, all out on Seagull Design.
Well,
so that's just...
I mean, the irony is not lost that he takes such umbrage with Hublot, and then he decides to pair up with a brand that has made Hublot homages. I think it's a very interesting sort of...
Maybe that's his way of getting at Hublot. That's like, I hate Hublot so much, I went to a brand that copies them. That will teach
I'm just
him.
saying, if he has an issue of the way that Hublot makes his watches, wait till he goes to China.
I was listening.
The rivers glow blue at night. What?
Loom so good.
Yeah, I was listening to an interesting podcast that was talking about the inevitability of YouTube influencers actually ending up just being marketers for brands that historically they would not have engaged with. That eventually you reach out. Oh, look at that, a little bit of string. Look at them putting it together. There's an inevitability that when a YouTuber kind of tops out and their channel is slow growing, they're actually the only way to increase the revenue, much like a company that needs to continually increase its value to its shareholders. The only way to grow its market is to actually start selling the watches directly rather than commenting upon them and getting the adverts from. I think we'll just freeze it at that picture. There we go. That's
how many takes did that take?
Yeah, I think
just one. Not to traumatize the cameraman too much.
You know what I love about this packaging that the watch comes in? That you have to take it back off the strap to put it back in the box. Because that's how I put my watches back in the carrying case. I just take the strap off, right?
Nico is turning into James Corden according to Borisic, which is a
wait.
Fun
It's not
point.
the same person.
Anyway, so that could have been this week's copage, which was from Nico. However, I think we're going to give it to.
Oh gosh!
I think we're going to give it to Casio for. I don't quite understand the relevance of this to Casio, but welcome to the Casio Moflin, a name which I'm sure hasn't done whatever it is that they call the checking out when they check. That Moflin's bound to mean something rude somewhere. It just
this is PG-13 at least.
It just feels like one of those words. The Moflin is a smart companion powered by AI with emotions like a living creature.
This is the worst.
Oddly, we were talking about this on the very same day that what is that website? Shine stopped selling sex dolls. So Japanese AI to the rescue.
Casio was like, "Oh, it's our time now."
They're furry. They're fun. They feel great.
I think
this is so bad. Yeah. I genuinely am getting goosebumps. It's so bad. It's like.
I think you guys remember Furbies?
So
those
gross.
Things that were like the precursor to this, and this is like an AI-powered Furby. Now, I remember the Furbies, and they were remarkably invasive because it was this little robot thing demanding food and stuff at times that weren't appropriate. And I remember shoving one under a bed to make it shut up because if you shut it off from light, it would go into hibernation mode. Now, if you've bundled that with AI, I can't imagine that is going to be less invasive. This is how we die.
Literally a space guinea pig.
The only reason this doesn't have hands is that so that it cannot hold a gun. That's the only reason. Like, that doesn't have arms. The little Moflin.
What type of drug do you need to be on to say, I want to have an afternoon out taking pictures with my Moflin?
well,
I
don't know where you can do that, or if the local authorities might have something to say about where you can take pictures of your Moflin.
Yeah.
I like how on the website they stress that it's highly unjudgmental. Like that's like, oh, finally.
Thank you. You know, that's like
technology that doesn't judge me like the other stuff.
Something like that. You know, like I'm highly not a homicidal maniac. You know, the moment you have to say that, it's like, well, it raises questions. You know, nobody thought of
Can't
that.
operate buttons. Don't work. It has no buttons.
Judgmental was not even remotely close to the first thing I would have been concerned about until they had mentioned it.
I want to.
is
Yeah, I
doing
want to
two
know-
things. One
Yeah.
is collecting data about its users, and two is devising a plan to destroy them all. That's
So
the
it's
two
very
functions of the Moflin.
judgmental. I think that's
Yeah.
that's false advertising. Humans seeing other humans with a Moflin will judge them, guarantee. And the device,
Yeah,
by
those-
nature, is absorbing your data, and it is judging you. So it's
Can
highly
someone-
judgmental.
Can someone send that kind woman in the advert video like a gerbil
G-Shock?
or a guinea pig or something to just, you
Or
know,
to therapy.
I want to see a
You know,
video of a
it's-
guinea pig meeting a Moflin and seeing what happens.
Yeah, a
See?
robot can.
So
It's-
safe and not judgmental. Don't stress it's safe. What is it like? Is a child going to swallow it? What can it do?
I want to know where you plug it
Whisper
in.
homicidal thoughts to you?
I want to know
I
where
get
you plug
goosebumps
it in.
again. This is
Does it
giving me the
talk?
shivers.
Oh, we've got testimonials.
Oh,
I
from
would
Stella.
rate my Moflin as 5 stars. I had a great experience with it, and using it was confusing in the beginning, but afterhand,
Oh
it
my
made
God.
a lot of sense. Okay, now
This is so Orwellian.
After it
It was
Hold on a
interfaces with my
second,
brain,
hold
I
on.
love it.
hold on.
Then
if there's-
Moflin doublespeak taught
if-
me how to appreciate it.
If there's testimonials, that means there's an ability to put them somewhere. How do I add a testimonial to the Moflin page?
You
Holy
can't.
moly.
These are all AI generated.
How do
What
I,
you
how,
should do is source like maybe like one of these like dusting things, you know, that look like a Moflin, and just place it in places where it looks like, you know, from certain angles, anything could be a Moflin. That's hair.
so
all
elf on a shelf, but with a Moflin.
If you
Anyway,
want a restaurant
this-
shut down, you just leave this on the table in gray,
What?
and then you know,
There's
it's
no mention of the battery life. That's the number one thing. I'm
Yeah, I
curious
wanna know
about.
where you
Not
plug
a
it in.
single mention.
Well,
of it.
oh,
Oh.
yeah, where's the charging port?
there's a USB.
Yeah, how do you
Hold on, hold on.
charge it?
It makes a noise.
by saying its name. So I say, "Hi, Moffy," and it recognizes
Okay.
that I am talking to it.
Okay.
I also
That's good.
greet my Moflin
That's
by petting it
good. No.
so that it knows that
It's
I'm
getting
touching
worse.
it and that I'm in its
You need a
presence.
plant. That's what you want.
Anyway, I know this is so adjacent to wristwatches. It's made by Casio, that's the reason. But congratulations, Casio, on diversification. Diversification is important.
What
Look,
do I
I'm
do
gonna be
with
honest,
this now?
If this thing looked like a little small Gundam or Japanese robot, we'd be
Mm.
all over it. I think our problem is just it's not designed for us, right? But
Okay,
if there was
yes.
like a tiny
It's
little
de-
robot that was
A
like a
tiny
little
G-Shock.
Astro Boy, okay, yeah,
Hey,
or a little
G-Shock.
G-Shock guy. Yes, the G-Shock man. Yeah, I
Oh, what
remember
about
that.
the
Like an
G-Shock
animated
creature?
G-Shock
They
man
have
AI
it.
companion.
So we need someone to
Yeah.
hack this, is what we're saying. Can
No,
somebody
we need
hack
new
the
hardware.
Moflin?
We don't want
What
to
if-
hack it. We just don't want it to look that way.
What if
Okay, someone's
under-
gonna skin it. We buy one, we skin it, and then we put it into a clock or something. I don't know, whatever
I
it
think
is.
if you skin it,
Turn
what
it
you're
into
gonna
Pickle Rick.
find is that remember Casio to create that weird like biomorphic looking one. They anthropomorphized the ball they used to throw out the windows. What if under the fur
Yeah.
is just that ball creature thing they created? And
It's just the G-Shock under there.
yeah.
This is the anthropomorphization. No, that's not it. Anthropomorphization. got too many words in there. Of
Yep.
a G-Shock is the Moflin. I want to see somebody throw it out a window and see how well it survives. Anyway, the honourable mention to
This is
Nico, but
concerning.
congratulations, Casio. A
Nico.
genius
I
launch.
mean,
Nico must
You-
try
you-
harder.
You faded into You have to
So
team
will
up with-
Nico be selling the Moflin?
It's
Yes. I
inevitable.
I want to see his
Now we're
video, like
talking.
pretending to eat it or whatever he was doing with the watch.
Look at the Moflin.
Oh, dear me. Anyway, so the show has started somewhere along the line. So good luck to Hayden as usual for editing
No,
this.
this has to start immediate rest with the Moflins. I mean, you know, we have to start high. It's all downhill from here.
But by the way,
mostly
Rick,
always.
your discussion on Scottish food upset a half Scottish man.
Oh,
Jay Leno was not
What, Jay
particularly
Leno
happy to hear
walks-
such a long discussion on haggis. He listens, and that
Uh-huh.
was his feedback.
But Jay Leno fed back to you
Yes.
Yes.
about discussion.
So could you talk about
Genuinely?
more appetizing Scottish food? I think that's
Can
really
we
the
get-
point.
Can we please have
Does
Jay
he have any
Leno
suggestions?
on in that case? How do we
Sure.
get
I
Jay
just
Leno on the
I
show?
don't know if he's going to come on at midnight.
Well,
He's
Jay
Canadian,
Leno.
so he's used to the hours.
He's used to the
It's
hours.
like 4 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Why? But he used to present a late night show, did he not?
That's a
You're
really
right.
good
You're
point,
right.
by the
It would
way.
be
Yeah,
in brand
exactly.
for him to show up. Okay.
Jay,
you're
come
right.
on, man. Come on.
He hasn't said no or anything.
Well,
He just
okay,
doesn't want
let's.
to talk about haggis.
Well,
Just doesn't want to talk to you, Rick.
okay. I'll step aside, and Jay Leno can host the show, and I'll go off and do my podcast about Hamilton the musical. That's fine. Everybody's a winner. Everyone's a winner. Sorted.
No,
right.
we'd miss you, Rick.
Briefly. Right. Ariel. According to Ariel, how watch shows and events offer both challenges, offer both opportunities and challenges. Give us a short intro to this, and then let's have a chat about what shows. Go for it.
So the most popular thing in the watch industry over the last several years, really since the end of the pandemic, has been the revitalization of shows. Not just a return of shows, but a real revitalization of what a watch show is, evolving from just a business to business trade show to a consumer facing event where products are sold. There's a large variety of them right now, and they're very important to the modern watch industry for a lot of reasons, especially when it comes to finding new customers and selling watches. But there are inherent issues with them, sustainability problems, and I don't mean environmental, I just mean like actual economic and human interest sustainability issues. So I try to discuss why these events are so popular, where the real value is, what's enduring about them, but some of the problems, some of the things around the seams where there's definite fragile points that are occurring. And I try to build it into some of the larger struggles as well as the opportunities of the current watch industry. And I write articles like this because this is sort of something happening in the watch culture ether, but no one is really summing it up. So that's what I try to do, is come at it from sort of an academic perspective so that everyone understands why they're doing it, and also ask some bigger questions about their strategy and how long they can do it for and how they can make it a real long-term part of their plan.
So how do you think the watch event has fundamentally changed from what you experienced pre-COVID to what you see now, apart from just the sheer quantity of them? And is there a point at which the trend starts to reverse?
Well, one of the interesting things about it is the very immediate, almost visceral feedback that brands get about how their products are doing. Of course, it depends on the brand and the type of show, but it used to be that at a trade show like Basel World or SIHH, and now Watches and Wonders, retailers would see the products, but it wasn't ultimately retailers that were the end consumers. Retailers would buy them and then sell them to end consumers. And brands didn't really know what the end consumers felt about it. They only knew what retailers felt, which is a little bit different. And retailers have historically always been far more conservative than end clients. You look at watch colors. For a long time, watch colors are very, very boring. And then all of a sudden, brands started selling direct to consumers, and watch colors went crazy. That's because retailers never buy brown dials and orange dials and bright red dials. They wanted black and silver and white and blue, and like really that's it. So that's one of the major things which I think is interesting, is brands get immediate feedback from consumers about everything, about how their brands are perceived. Not all these brands know what to do with it, but I think that has been a positive thing. Also, brands have found that when they are when they interact with someone, it's easier to do a sale than online. So a lot of direct to consumer brands almost exclusively have these as opportunities to interact with clients. They do sell watches as a trickle online, but what I've learned from talking to many brands is these events that they go to, especially the smaller ones, they represent many of their sales annually. You're muted.
Yeah, sorry, apologies for being muted there. One of the things that strikes me, especially in the UK, there's maybe 8 to 10 regular annual watch shows now. Now, okay, when I say they're annual, they'll be going for 2 years. Maybe they won't make it to the third year. It's the same brand you keep seeing. I'm assuming those brands are now starting to see the same people just continually turning up, because fundamentally because we don't all have Moflins in our life. We're all lonely, need social interaction, and so get that from the free watch events that we attend. Our brands, is there a diminishing return because they just keep seeing the same people? There's only so many watches that Christopher Ward can sell to the same person. Or am I wrong? And actually, you know what? These watch geeks will just keep going and keep buying. And it's just a nice virtuous circle for these kind of lower level watch brands that aren't going to Watches and Wonders or the really big events. Or are these watch brands starting to report, you know what? We're doing 10 of these a year now. And we just keep on seeing the same people. It's now no longer worth it. And they're pulling back.
It's a good question, Rick, and the answer is sort of all of the above. So this is the strategy that brands are taking. One way that brands are trying to find new audiences is simply going to new shows in new cities. That's one of the reasons that they keep traveling to all these places. Like, oh, I haven't really met these people or met that people. It is true that they see some of the same folks and stuff like that, but they also want to sell multiple watches to the same people. So part of their strategy is repeat business. So that actually suits them quite well. The thing that's interesting to me, which I identified 4 or 5 years ago already, and is starting to be, I guess you call it a real issue now, is how at some point when these shows get so crowded, meaning there's too many brands, then that's where there really is the diminishing return. Is too many people or too many brands were there. And yes, maybe a lot of people came, but for whatever reason, they can't get through it all. And Windup was a good example of that. I completely understand why Windup wants to have more exhibitors. In a lot of ways, it makes it more interesting, more dynamic, more fun. But I think they had over 150 exhibitors there. And it was an exciting space to be in. But if you were any one of these given vendors, you would feel a real sense that a lot of the people who went to the show just didn't see you. And when you pay to be there, they all pay to be there. Not an exorbitant amount. It's no Watches and Wonders, but when they pay to be there, the expectation is people are going to come by my booth. Now, what ends up happening is even though they've done nothing different, the event itself has suddenly become more competitive. And we see the same situation where blogs have become more competitive for space. So now they got to pay for advertising and such like that. Social media has become more competitive. So you have to pay for engagement, pay for visibility and things like that. You go to the shows. And so we have certain shows like Intersect, which is, by definition, much smaller. I think it was maybe 20 vendors, something like maybe up to 25, nowhere near 150. But the tendency for each of the shows is to grow. And that creates an incentive for those brands to actually seek greener pastures elsewhere. So it's true that they're never really super happy, but it's also nature of the beast that you're going to a trade show. There's only so many people. It's not like, internet marketing where you could reach tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands in a couple of days. So I think some of it also has to do with their expectations. And that's why I wrote an article like this. Is a lot of these brands are like, I'll just go to the show and I'll have my booth and I'll be super charismatic and I'll have fun stickers and all the money will come to me. No, it's not that simple enough.
I wonder if my thinking is quite British in this regard. If you relate it to music, back in the day when folk didn't just download whatever track on iTunes or whatever, and you would tour as a band. In the UK, the audience would travel to the band, whereas in America, you could spend a year touring, 5,000 seater halls, etc., and nobody would know you in America, despite the fact you'd filled hundreds of them for weeks and weeks on end, and the whole kind of breaking America thing. So I wonder if actually for these smaller brands, there's just such a huge market that, as you say, we are maybe still in the foothills of creating more and more watch events rather than at the kind of tipping point of them coming back down the mountain again. I wonder whether having these watch events with so many brands at them eventually leads to them kind of self-selecting and self-ranking themselves. That, you know what, I don't want to be at a watch show with my brand if this other brand is there. So instead, I'll go to this as you say, much smaller watch show where I surround myself with brands that I think I am equivalent to, rather than, oh, I go to this watch show and there's all of these Chinese watches or all of these French watches or British watches, whatever it happens to be, or types of watches or price point of watches. David, Ripley, experiences, thoughts on this subject? How do you see the world of the watch show developing?
It's hard because it's, with the when you it gets Intersect's nice because there's lots of people, there's a solid number of brands, it's busy, but when a brand is making contact with a potential customer or someone who wants to discover about it, they can actually have a decent conversation, and they might have to stop in that conversation to greet someone else who comes up to the table. But it's not like when the type of event where you've got 150 plus exhibitors where, I mean, if you see Mike Pearson over just kind of manning the fort during like a wind-up event, he is so busy basically just trying to get the general gist out and greet the people that are coming up to it. And that's a huge brand. It's not like that at every single booth there, obviously. But then when you've got smaller brands who are looking at that packed table and being like, well, what's the point of me being here? This is just sort of a mess and I'm one of many. There is kind of that sweet spot of where Ariel mentioned, where you actually get to connect with the individuals. And that's a big part of the reason why people like the smaller scale brands. And then once it gets above a certain size, you need to entertain all the people and brands and stuff that are there to kind of keep it an event so people can make their rounds. So there is sort of a sweet spot in sizing. And I think that the events themselves are still trying to get their footing with it. But it's the same thing at Watches and Wonders, even at the big one. The first day of the show, at the very first thing, when the Rolex curtains go up, that's where everyone is. And then once the curtains go up and people get their first couple things for social media, everyone runs off to their appointments and the day goes on. But like, that's a good example of, there is no level of brand that this is necessarily not a factor. You can be Patek waiting at 9 a.m. and then everyone walks over thereafter after they saw the Rolex release. So I think that's just fundamentally going to be a system, as far as as long as there's big brands and small brands and some brands that are super popular or culty or whatever. But with the more and more wind up ones, even as someone who's there to just kind of loosely cover the event and see brands, I have such a hard time making it through all the brands and saying hello to people. And of course, all the other industry people you run into. And I'm not even trying to sell watches.
David, observations?
Just don't say hello to anyone.
That's the European way. Just go in there with your Moflin and just be with your Moflin.
Just talk to it. I mean, there's the art of just the nod of acknowledgement. When somebody's storming towards you and you're storming the other direction, and you're just like, hey, yes, I'll see you on day 6. That's right. The press lounge, something.
And it's only a 5-day show. But you don't realize that. See you in the 6th day.
Bye.
Good stuff. Are there any brands that are becoming the equivalent of Rolex, the anchor tenant of these kind of next level down shows?
For sure, Chris Ward. It's and it started with the Bel Canto. Like, they've always been a really popular brand. It's always been really good value for the money, but when it was just like a really nice Swiss diver for a fair price, there wasn't anything someone could see there that they couldn't see somewhere else. But when you get the Bel Canto, it's nothing groundbreaking, but within that sector and at that price point, it made a lot of waves. Same's true for the Loco. And when I was there at the one in San Francisco, the number of people just going up the table to check out a Loco was nuts.
I've identified something interesting as well, and that is many of the consumers that go to these are very new and very fresh. There's nothing wrong with that, but the amount of information they know, what they know about watch culture, is limited to really sort of what they see on social media. I mean, I think the perfect example is, as you say, Christopher Ward. Christopher Ward has engendered a personality for itself, which is totally false. They've said, oh, we're a cool little micro brand. Christopher Ward is not now, nor has it ever been, a micro brand. No. Yet they continue to assert this personality. That's one of the reasons they don't engage with me very much, because I refuse to toe their fallacious line. I like some of the stuff they do. I think they probably have a little bit too much popularity right now. Most of it is just because of Mike Pearson. But they've painted this picture of themselves as like, the hippest of the micro brands when they're not at all. They're wearing like the clothing maybe of a micro brand. They're using that terminology, and that's effective because a lot of these audience are really, really that new, and eventually we'll figure some of this stuff out. And I also want to comment that we've seen a lot of this play with the traditional luxury brands where they're like, I've outgrown this retailer. I don't like the brands I'm around, right? Or I don't even want to be on the street anymore. Madison Avenue, screw that. I'm going to Fifth Avenue. Like so you see the big brands for many years playing, I guess you call it the positioning game. And it really is a matter of that. It's who am I around? Who's going to see me? Stuff like that. It's got nothing to do with their products, not really that much to do with their marketing. But again, it's about positioning. And it's been happening for a very long time, and it's completely predictable to see it happening within this, startup brand space.
Okie dokie, let's move on. I have just Googled Mr. Jay Leno, and here's some facts I didn't know, which means I'm okay with him criticizing or critique of Scottish food, because his middle name is James Douglas Muir Leno, which, other than the Leno bit, is just about the most Scottish name you could have.
His dad was Italian, so that's where Leno
yes,
comes from.
But his mother was from Greenock, which is just not very far from where I'm sitting right now.
Oh.
And is famous. It's famously the home of some confectionery. There's some famous sweetie shops that come from Greenock, as well as the football club Greenock Morton. But there we go. So yeah, a very Scottish selection of Douglas Muir. That's just like, I actually know people that's their name, Douglas Muir. So there you go. And he's got that as middle
name. Is that a paint?
Douglas Muir.
I feel like that's a paint company.
No. Well, maybe. Not aware of one, but there we go. So anyway, yes, it's good to have a fellow Scot listening in. Right, you have a choice, gentlemen. We can either go to What You Like, which this week from last week is horror movies, or we can do our famous, well, I say famous, we've only done it 3 times, show within a show, a brand, a rant, and a Watches 101. Where would you like to go to next? Spin the bottle and tell us where we're going. Who's choosing?
I'm not really into horror movies, so you will lose me on that one.
Not really into horror.
Let's start with the show within a show.
Show within a show. But David promises an unboxing this week. Is he following through with his unboxing? No.
I totally forgot. The mystery bag remains firmly on my shelf.
Is it still there? Is it still unopened?
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So next week we will have the unboxing from David. I can see this becoming a running thing. It never actually gets unboxed.
The unbagging. It will be a
unbagging.
The reboxing.
It's because there's one of those Moflins in it. Casio have sent him a gift.
How did you
That's
know?
what's in it. Right, show within a show. Let's make a start. So let's choose, because he'd already told me he had one, a rant from Ripley Sellers, or show within a show.
It's a rant that leads into the Watch 101 thing. It's perfect. Well, those who read the site, Haim released the Annuum. Well done to them. When the press materials went out for it, it was described as being an annual calendar. And the pre-order price for it, or the introductory price, not pre-order, the introductory price was like $1,700, and they have got a custom module on like an SW300 sort of platform. All that's well and good. Unfortunately, it is not an annual calendar. It's a complete calendar, which is a bit less impressive, quite a bit less impressive. Still a cool watch, no doubt, but man, if this is the party piece of it and the name Annuum would allude to annual, that's a tough one to go out when, like, this isn't like, oh, sorry, we changed the material of the hands for, production reasons. It's like, I feel like that was the entire theme of it. It's not even that fun of a rant, because I'm not even upset. I'm just disappointed. This could have been epic if it was like a triple calendar moon phase annual calendar at like under $2,000. That would be really, really cool for the micro brand scene. lovely watch. There's a lot of cool things they do with the rotor. It's like they make it look like a peripheral rotor. It's not. It's centrally mounted, but there's a transparent disc in there linking the outer weight. Still cool, but man, I'm just that's the
Just
disappointment of the
disappointed.
day for sure. I've just wake up and seeing, oh, correction, sorry, we called an annual calendar. It's not. It's
Okay, so we'll do it. So first of all, on the watch itself, so they get
And
bonus
let me,
points.
I guess now it's turning into a rant, Rick. Okay, so here's the thing. If it was an annual calendar, that'd be pretty special. But a triple calendar, I think the Miota 9 series movements in the 9100 configuration is a triple calendar with a power reserve. So we're not even that far away from just the off-the-shelf one from a functionality point. If it was an annual calendar and I didn't need to touch it until March 1st, I would have been really, really on board and interested. But at this point, it feels like even doing the custom module seems a bit unnecessary because you're really just getting a moon phase over an off-the-shelf 9100.
It gets bonus points for me because at least it is using the same type of.
Oh, I know you'd like that. Yes,
I like that. So it's using it's a calendar and it's using all pointers rather than 2 pointers in one window. At least displays the date as a pointer as well. I actually prefer it if it was Windows, but there we go. So that's the Moan or the Rant.
Why are these so expensive? They look like a mall watch. What makes them like $1,700? I really don't get it. This looks precisely like the sort of thing that's discounted from $9.99 to $163.73 with free shipping from Shenzhen.
And so that's what disappoints me.
Doesn't look expensive.
If I told you this was an annual calendar, because it's got a custom module, would you not feel a little bit different?
Yeah, but no watch that looks like this has an annual calendar. I mean, this really is giving me that, and I'm not trying to bash this, but this is giving me really strong mall watch vibes. I'm sorry.
So let me. I gotta chime in here. David is definitely accurate what he's saying, but I saw this watch in person, and I have to say, these watches look better in person. So I think that's a big part of it. I again don't disagree with what anyone's saying here. They tried to do their own take. Hey, we have our own calendar. But David's right that there's this whole generation of watches that I like to playfully call the phonograph, like FAUX, it looks like it's a chronograph, but it's like some cheap, boring complication, like a day-night indicator, like no one cares about. And the Japanese especially, and Chinese for that matter, have had years and years of these where they make like a big to-do, like let's use all this dial space, make it look like, oh, it's a chronograph. No, it's just a boring calendar date thing. And that it kind of has that vibe. So David's definitely correct that if you have that experience, but I think a lot of the new novices out there, they've never seen those watches. They don't know them. And then again, when you see this in person, it definitely it's definitely different than those watches. But you're right. At a glance, if I was just looking at this online, I'd be like, dismiss.
Yeah, the photos aren't great. I saw a prototype early on at the Minutes and Hours and show when it was in LA, and the transparent dial one kind of reminds me a little bit of like the overseas Perpetual. Obviously very different when you get to the case and everything, but no, they what I saw looked quite promising, and when I heard annual calendar I was really excited. But man, that's just one of those ones where it was like, hey, do you want to come to my birthday party? John Mayer's playing, and you're like, oh yeah, for sure. And then you show up and he's not playing. It's like, oh, sorry, no, my friend John, who's the mayor of one of the towns, is playing. And you're like, all right, cool, happy birthday, brother.
It's not a birthday party, it's a complete party. I mean,
it's not. Yeah, it's not that. It's the Annuum, not the Completum.
I mean, if you look at the dial, the case looks nice on some of the pictures, it's true, but the dial is just really, really, really quite poor. The textures, the fake guilloche on the center, the quality of the print, the hands, nothing on this looks like $1,700, let alone $2,100. It's nothing.
Again, they're better in person, but I agree. This is the risk of bad. They're not bad pictures. They're just not representative.
No, it's just not an expensive dial.
I mean, how many textures are on the face of this watch? So we've
not
got
enough.
1, 2, 3, 4. Does the bit in the middle count as a fifth, or is it a continuation of the hat?
It's the beginning of that.
Textures and fonts again.
It's
uh,
just not a good dial.
and there
I'm
appears to be
sorry.
there appears to be a bit of fingernail left just within
Yeah,
the
there
moon phase.
you'll
I'm not sure
see
what that
lints.
is.
If you go through the photos and really look close, you'll see like little pieces of lint or like
Lint.
a little speck of dust on the crystal that didn't get removed in Lightroom.
Mm.
So these are probably very earnest photos. If you like, it will look better in person.
That's a good
Guaranteed.
picture of the case.
Yeah.
On that picture, the case looks expensive. The dial, this looks like a decent case, but the dial is just.
Yeah.
And it does look
Okay.
thick, but it's only like 12 mil. It's just not a very large watch, so it looks a bit slab-sided. But if you
These
actually
pictures suck. I'm sorry. I don't know who took these pictures.
but if
This
you
is
break
just
down the
awful.
dimensions, it's gonna
Tell
wear
me
it
this isn't
better.
our pictures, right? This isn't like one of
No,
us, right?
no.
Oh, right,
no.
okay. I thought it was Ripley's article. I was worried for Ripley's
Uh-oh.
photography there. Okay, so that is our rant this week on the Haim Annuum, which should have been a completum rather than an annum. They're going to have to change the name of the watch. Brings a complete calendar to the microbrand scene. Okay, Ripley, now give us our 101 this week, which is what actually is the difference between. So you've used the word annual calendar, complete calendar, and triple calendar.
And
when
let's do
speaking about the
perpetual
Haim
calendar.
and
So
perpetual calendar.
let's
So give
start
us
with the
what I'm afraid to ask. I don't really know. I've just carried on all these years that I know the difference. So now educate me.
So let's start from the full Monty and go to the thing that you can get in the mall watch David described. At the top of this, before we get into the really esoteric stuff where there's multiple different calendars, it can do Hebrew and the secular and all of that. For most watches, even the Grail status ones, you're going to get perpetual calendar that it tracks everything, compensates for the different number of days in each month and leap years. So until like 2100, or depending on which brand and what mechanism they're using, for probably the rest of your life. And when you have to send it in for service, you're not going to need to reset the watch, provided that you keep it running, at least the calendar complications.
Okay. So if I keep it wound up, the date will keep correct.
Yes, in theory, until it needs service. Now, moving one step down, you get the annual calendar. Unlike the perpetual calendar, it doesn't do leap years. So it does the different months, 30, 31 days, whatever, but you will need to reset it at the end of February because it can't do that one piece of math. But still pretty useful except for that one day a year, you're getting pretty much most of the functionality and just a bit less of the bragging rights. Annual calendars, somewhat rare.
Before we go to that, yes, so annual calendar, as I understand it, perpetual calendars existed before annual calendars, or there's some history behind this. One was actually, it was more desirable when you were an individual watchmaker to actually make a perpetual calendar. Nobody had actually ever thought of making a calendar complication that didn't deal with February 29th. That was kind of not really the point. Is that correct or a myth?
I wouldn't know the order of which they came out, but that would make sense. Someone realized, hey, this thing's like really hard to do, and every 4 years is kind of ridiculous, when back in the day you had to service them every year. It just didn't really necessarily make the most sense. And what if we just did this and cut out that whole other bit of it? But personally, I would choose an annual calendar over a perpetual calendar. It's just more simple. I can deal with one day a year of almost anything, let alone watch setting. So moving one step down from that, you get a complete calendar, which just is a regular calendar, but it has indicators for the days, day, month, and day, month, and date. So that's nice. You can have them with or without a moon phase, but this is for the person who can't remember it's Tuesday in March and it's the 31st. If you can remember the month, you can go to a date, and all you need to know is it is Tuesday the 21st or something like that. And if you can remember what day it is, you just get the date display, which is what you get on pretty much most watches. And if you can remember the date, you just end up at a time only. But where people begin to lose it is the difference between triple, annual, and perpetual. Perpetual does leap years. Annual needs to be reset once a year. And triple calendar, complete calendar, you're just getting multiple displays for a traditional calendar that doesn't do anything autonomously as far as different numbers of days.
I'm looking at an article on the 1916 company, which I'm struggling to believe, but it being the 1916 company, it will at least be reasonably well researched if Tim's been involved. So this is suggesting that this appears to be suggesting the first simplified perpetual calendar was first introduced as a wristwatch in 1996. Is that right?
I mean,
Perpetual
it's totally
perpetual
plausible.
calendars. So perpetual calendars go back to 17 ish with Thomas Mudge, and then Patek painted the first perpetual calendar in a wristwatch in 1889, and it took 70
These
odd
go way
years
back.
for someone to actually go, let's just forget about the leap year. Is that not the most back to front thing you've ever heard? It's really weird that you would
Where is this 1990s Patek coming from? What's special about it?
This is saying that this is the first annual calendar. The annual calendar dilemma. This is on the 1916
Not that
company.
style.
Annual calendars, as their name implies, need to be reset annually. However, they account for various lengths. And the first, maybe this was just Patek's first, the reference 5035. But the article is saying essentially it was first introduced as a wristwatch in 1996. So
Yeah,
you go
that's
70
an annual calendar.
Plausible.
Probably nobody dared to ask for quite so much money for something that does less. But like figured a way out. They went to work, they tried really hard, and they were like, yeah, you can do it in February.
Yeah, cost cutting exercise at Patek.
Yeah. How do you feel now, customer?
There's often the takedown models in other industries where they come out with the flagship one, they get people excited, then they realize they can't afford it, and then they come out with like the poor man's version after the fact. You see it all the time with like signature sneakers from like athletes and stuff. So like you get everyone hyped on the Perpetual stuff after a while of it being the grail trinket for the wealthy guys. Hey, if you do okay without the leap year, we can charge you almost as much, but it'll be less expensive.
Yeah, I mean,
there you go.
it's ballsy from Patek to come out with a number perpetual calendar that's an annual, like a decade after Kurt Klaus figured out a nice crown
Nice way of
setting only
doing it.
perpetual for, you know. So they actually managed to refine the way a perpetual calendar operates thanks to Kurt Klaus, and then Patek was like, hold my beer. 8 years later, we figured out something that does less, and probably
We
charge
demand
more.
our pushers.
Great, good job. This is only possible in the world of watches, really. I don't think this would work in the world of technology or cars or anything like that. You know,
Yet we all
imagine a
prefer
company-
annual calendars.
Yeah, I quite like
Like,
annual calendars.
yeah.
I have nothing against them. I just don't want to pay quite so much, you know, for the privilege.
Good. Okay, so that is our Watches 101 for the week. Now you know everything about how to distinguish your
And by the way,
calendar.
this was the
Losing
exact
electricity.
rant I had when Zenith 3 came out with their crappy
David,
calendar.
just to emphasize the decline in Western Europe, David's now about to run out of electricity. So
I have to go and wind up my clocks, feed the chicken, and just say hello to my medieval friends, and just go back to
enjoy.
Don't forget to throw the bathroom bucket out the window.
Gardilu to you too. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so that is our Watches 101 on all things calendar. Now, our show within a show for a brand question. And my question is this: who cares about the moon the most, NASA or Omega?
Omega.
Discuss.
Omega.
think-
NASA can go anywhere. The moon's nice. That's a great thing. They can tout as, hey, we went back there, but you know, realistically, NASA, it's the answers they seek are not on the moon. They're looking more at Mars, cosmic stuff you can only see from a telescope. Realistically, like the beginning of the universe type of things and particles and asteroid, all of that stuff. Omega has done the Mars timer, but the emphasis on anything other than the moon and space exploration has been very, very little. And meanwhile, NASA's funding does not come from people's interest in the moon necessarily. It comes from budgets and stuff like that. So when I think for Omega, the moon is more important. It isn't just the greatest accomplishment other than Daniel Craig. It's the big source of revenue and a generator for them. You know, if we reconquered the moon, great for NASA, but then it's like, what's next? What's the next frontier? Mars and what other planets and where else can we send humans? Omega, if they're not part of those next journeys, the moon is still going to be the feather in the cap.
Well, I mean, do you think though that if we go to Mars and Omega don't go to Mars, then that's a big problem? Do Swatch Group need to throw money at the Mars trip? Otherwise, like, you were the watch that went to the moon. I mean, you can imagine what happens to the marketing campaign if Breitling is the one that goes to Mars. There's going to be all these billboards slagging off Omega. You went to the moon. Oh, look at you. Oh, look at you, little Omega. We went to Mars.
Only if they're allowed to build one of those Olympics countdown clocks on Mars.
Shine a laser at it.
What if we just started sponsoring, I think our space program should have more funding, but what if the brand sponsored it? So just like like an F1 driver, you could just sell the different places on the spacesuit, and it could just be like a big Omega logo on the helmet or something like that. And so NASA gets their funding, Omega's guaranteed to be part of it. And if we're being really honest, they did so much research back in the day around the Alaska project for like space watch stuff. They probably have a lot of the R&D there. It's just creating something that NASA wants to do their testing on again.
Are you familiar with the TV show Red Dwarf? Did that make it to the States?
That was a comedy, right?
Comedy, yeah.
It's a Scottish thing?
No.
Not everything that you don't understand, Ripley. It's just because it's Scottish.
Just some of them.
Just some of them. So in Red Dwarf, one of the characters famously had an H on his forehead. So I'm just seeing it now. The brand we need to support in going to Mars is obviously Hublot. Can you imagine the one-upmanship of? Can you imagine how Hublot would respond to all the other brands, in particular Omega, if it was the brand that went to Mars? It would be some of the best advertising campaigns you've ever seen of watch brands taking on each other.
I mean, Omega, like, first of all, Hublot would make the watch out of Mars in the same way. They like it would
they make it out of the moon, taking the moon to Mars.
And we
What's this brand 101?
Well, there's nothing about either of these brands.
So Omega. So
what do you learn about Omega? I don't know. Something about Mars.
And Hublot. As we know, everything eventually goes back to both Hublot and Panerai. We just haven't got to the Panerai section yet. Although I think I promised last week to mention neither of those brands, but never mind. So why is the moon shtick as important to selling the moon watch, the Speedmaster, as we think it is, or actually? When people buy Speedmasters, they're not really thinking about it going to the moon. It's just a peripheral thing.
For the average person, it's the thing I hear the most.
Really?
It's like, oh, Omega, they had the watch that went to the moon. It's we often think of it like, oh, we keep hearing the message. I'm more interested in the fact that it's flight qualified and for EVA. There's plenty of digital watches that have been flight qualified, but they can't do the EVA stuff because the temperatures and the LCD screens. I'm more interested in that nerdy level of it. That is no normal sane person cares about that. But for the average, my neighbor was like, "Oh, I've always wanted a Omega Moonwatch because it was the one used by NASA." Like that's still just like Rolex with the dive watch and the James Bond. James Bond hasn't worn a Rolex in decades, but the James Bond Submariner, like that still carries weight.
Yeah. Do you think Omega are still perpetually disappointed that people still think that Bond wears a Rolex? Unless you've actually owned the Omega.
I mean, haven't they made enough money off that relationship not to care?
So which do you think they would drop first? Do you think they would drop the Olympics type sporting event timing, Bond, or the moon as references? What's
oh my God, it's like you're asking them to like kill one of their children.
It'll be Bond. It'll be Bond. It would be Bond. You can't. The Olympics, that's global. It's also only every 4, or I guess technically 2 years. And look, they've already started making watches for 100 days to celebrate 100 days to the countdown of the 2026 Olympics.
Yeah,
like that's a big thing for them. With the James Bond stuff, they do a lot of that, but like they can really, other than tribute pieces and like really high-end merch type of thing, they can really only do a new Bond watch when there's a new Bond movie. And I mean, look at the number of Speedmasters. Clearly that the Speedmaster release schedule is not tied to every moon event. Yeah.
there may not be a new good Bond movie during our lifetime. I mean, what do they do? Take his gun away now? What is he like? James Bond, like ward
James Bond
psychiatrist?
light.
It's
Is there any other brand other than Omega that we can so quickly name the 3 biggest brand tie-ins? I mean, it's actually quite a successful partnership with those three. The fact that I can sit here and go, oh yeah, Omega, the Moon, Bond, and Olympic Timer. I'm not sure I could do that with Breitling or even Rolex. Okay, Rolex, I could go Wimbledon, formerly Formula
You
One,
could totally do that with
and
Rolex.
golf. But that's sports rather than the actual, I mean, Bond tie-in, I suppose. So Rolex, Omega, is there anyone else, brands where you're immediately thinking, yeah, they're the guys that do X? I'm not sure that there is.
Three? I
So,
mean, some brands don't have the three. It's like Piaget.
yeah.
Oh, they're the ones who do the jewelry, or like Cartier. Oh, my wife loves them. It's like
Right, okay.
a lot don't have the three. I'm trying to think of like who has like a couple or maybe three main pillars that are
Okay.
that succinct. Breitling likes planes, cars, and planes, American cars, and football, or I don't know.
Okay, well, I think there's only one way to test this finally in conclusion is to go to both the websites and see how quickly each website, both NASA and Omega,
Panerai.
talk
It's
about
Mike Horn, old
Okay.
Italian submarines,
and
and
yachts.
I was
That
going to say
yacht.
exotic
That's Scottish.
leathers.
That's
Yeah.
Scottish yacht.
But now Panerai has written their official history finally. They've
Oh,
rediscovered it, and now they
has-
have established a new history, a
Really?
revised history.
has anyone checked with Periscope? Because he's probably having a fit right now.
I don't know if you've seen
Panerai
it
have
yet.
writ-
I don't know if they've released it yet, but I've been told that
It's coming.
I mean, it's kind of amazing in the sense that it's important to them. It's
Mhm.
like the history is important to them, just not actual history, creating
Absolutely.
history.
What do you think I would have to do to feature in the Panerai history books as the most famous podcasting Panerai wearer? Because I don't think it's a big. I don't think there's a big.
You want accolades for that?
A big congregation of Panerai wearing podcasters. I don't think that's a regular.
I think you should have a
occurrence.
T-shirt that says it, and eventually people would get the message.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah,
So
sometimes you
start
just-
self-advertising the status of yours.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to make a sign and stand by it, and that'll make it true.
Right,
Yeah,
okay. So build
because
it,
it's
they
like
will
you
come.
want a title that doesn't exist yet, so you're creating a new title
Right, okay.
and
Right, let's
telling
go
everyone
to
why it's a big deal.
let's go to both the websites. So let's go to Omega first page. Okay, so on the first page is Time to Celebrate and then a Speedmaster, but it's the Milano Cortina one. So we're still on the home page. Do we have any mention
whole lot of
the
Olympics.
Moon? Whole lot of Olympics.
It
Well,
says
Moonwatch. It says Moonwatch.
By someone
so,
who will not go to the moon.
Aaron Taylor. Oh, that's the guy that. Who's Aaron Taylor? No, who's he? He's an
British
actor.
actor and
Oh, this
Omega
is the
brand
guy that.
ambassador.
This is the guy they think might be the next James Bond as well. So yeah, Omega getting in early there with their cross.
In the future, isn't it possible
colonization.
that Moonwatch can mean something completely different, like made from parts of the moon, or made on the moon, or inspired by the moon? Like they could pivot this. Like 100 years from now, it could have nothing to do with going to the moon
Or mooning. Is that
or
is that a
mooning. Yes, that's
is that a
that's the
phrase?
one they want to do.
I was
Oh,
dis-
Richard
was-
at Studio Underdog, take note. I would love to see that one.
I was discussing so in rugby over here, there's what's called the haka, which is when you play New Zealand or any of the kind of Tonga, Samoa. They do a thing called the haka. Google it.
It's
you'll
like a
find out what it
dance,
is.
right?
It's like a dance, like a war dance. And these Southern Hemisphere teams always get to perform the haka before the rugby starts. And I've always wanted, and so the other team just kind of stands there and takes it. And I've always wanted the Scottish team to do the Braveheart thing with kilts on and just turn around and slap their backsides at the New Zealanders. And that would be the official. We could have a watch. Oh, Breitling are the sponsors of the Six Nations. So Breitling could produce a moon watch. It would just be an entirely different type of mooning. Right, so Omega, it's kind of on the first page. Let's go to NASA and see how quickly they talk about it. NASA,
About
return
the
to the
moon?
moon. Okay, there you go. It is actually the first feature. So maybe NASA is... Oh, okay. News flash. Due to the lapse
Starring
in-
Omega.
No,
Return to the
Look-
moon.
yeah, but look at the top of the page. Due to the lapse in federal government funding, NASA is not updating this website. So
So it's
so-
like
Oh,
30
our
days from a
embarrassing-ass
401
country.
redirect type of thing. Okay.
Actually, wait a minute. How come David's the one that the lights are going off in? I thought it was your country that the lights were going off in. No government. No, is that not how it works?
I don't think the government runs the power companies.
Has anybody noticed that the government isn't functioning in the United States? None of the rest of us have, for what
That's
it's
not-
worth.
Yes,
an-
apparently half the government is thrilled about it.
Also, the government not functioning isn't necessarily like a new thing. They shut down, but it was arguably non-functional long before that point.
Long before that. Okay, so there
Hopefully
we
it's
have it.
closed for repairs, you know?
Closed for repairs. It's been sent off for servicing.
Pardon our dust, we're
Hopefully-
doing maintenance.
Yes,
New government
hopefully-
coming soon. Shiny new government.
Blue screen of death. Right. Okay. So that is our show within a show. Hopefully there was something of value.
Welcome to
there
Democracy
somewhere.
Plus.
Yes, Omega novices really know how to understand the brand now. We talked
Yeah.
maybe about 0.5% of it.
We talked more
Right.
about NASA and the moon.
Well, there you go. But that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
We've made more
Anyway.
people want to be an astronaut than be interested in Omega.
Interested in
And that's
what?
okay. That's okay.
Okay, right. So last week the challenge was on What You Like, was nominated horror films. And I think it was nominated by Ariel. So first up, Ariel was
How do I
The
keep getting roped
Thing.
into this? Okay.
Yeah. Was The Thing. So let me find a page for The Thing film. Was it 1982 film?
Yes.
The Thing. So what does The Thing mean to you in terms of both the movie and therefore by reference, what watch brand or SKU could it possibly represent?
Who evolves in a grotesque way very quickly?
Ooh, I like that. Who's changed? Who's like leaned into what they have become known as the fastest?
Oh, it's
Whoa.
I'm getting for some reason Jacob and Company vibes
Mm-hmm.
because they are very fast moving and in some instances complex but very grotesque.
Okay. I
Maybe like a
that.
Beauvais. Beauvais got some weird stuff going on the inside there.
Yeah, but is it not about leaning into it? Is it not about finding
They
your
were
niche?
for a while. For a
and
while
then
they
just
were.
That's all you do. You find your niche and you go stuff all the other stuff, but this is the thing that's making us money. Let's just do more of this.
No, it's not really what
No.
the thing is about. I mean, it's a shape-shifting monster
Shape shifting.
that does try to copy something
is it
else.
not? Is it not? Oh no. What's the brand I'm thinking of? The one that makes all the noises at Watches and Wonders.
That makes all the noises, Roger Dubuis.
Roger Dubuis, yeah, it's Shapeshift. It was actually this quite classy brand with some quite nice watches, and then it just entirely shapeshifted into this Richard Mille wannabe selling its watches. At
Does it also
extraordinary
succumb to
prices.
fire and
Does it
seduce
succumb
Kurt
to
Russell?
fire?
No, it doesn't seduce him.
Is
No.
Braymont shapeshifted pretty
Ooh.
dramatically.
Yeah.
Oh, and the
Ooh, I
grotesque
like
part
that.
of it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I love how
yeah.
Brabant is the answer to so many of these.
Yeah, we've discovered if the answer's not Hublot or Panerai, then it's probably Bremont.
I just realized the audience is going to believe the truth, which is we think about brands we don't like far more than we think about brands we do like.
Hublot, Bremont. Have we discovered the new holy trinity of watches? Hublot, Bremont, and Panerai. I think there's an article to be written there, Ripley. Probably not by you, but there's not the new Panerai, the new trinity of watchmaking. Panerai, Hublot.
You're not a real
and
collector
Bremont.
until you own these 3 watches.
Okay, there was no
let's do
old
that video.
Trinity. Okay, that's just a made
Yeah.
up set of
Ariel,
3.
you were looking for suggestions for video content. I have a suggestion for you.
Please.
The new Trinity. You don't understand watches unless you've owned these.
It's
3
it's got
brands.
a name that'll
Panerai,
get views, right?
Hublot.
That's an engaging name. You're like,
Yeah,
I want to know
exactly.
more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go. Bremont is the thing. Okay, so next up after Bremont.
Not Jacob and
the
Company?
Thing.
Okay. You're
No,
like, no,
I think no.
Bremont. Always
Night-
Bremont.
Well, Jacob
Nightmare
and Co.
on
has
Elm
the
Street.
grotesque evolution. They've got so many tourbillons in certain pieces. It's wild. But the shape shifting, they've always just been flagrant. I guess the shape, it's like which Bugatti shape.
So Nightmare on Elm Street was next up.
So what is very sharp and will cut you, may haunt you in your sleep,
Tiso, it's that
and
hair puller.
is mostly focused on torturing teenagers.
Tiso. It's the hair pulling. It's the hair pulling.
Did you have a bad experience? I'm sorry.
Oh, the hair pulling integrated bracelet, the
Ooh.
PRX. Nightmare on Elm Street is the Tiso PRX, guaranteed to remove bits of your skin slowly and painfully via the tugging of an integrated strap, which just has no gaps between it whatsoever. So the hair plucker.
Okay, it's got a bit of a sense of humor, so okay, I'll see that.
Freddy Krueger like kills in the dreams, right? Like he goes into your dreams and kills you there. That's the. So what brand is remarkably what brand destroys you psychologically and that manifests by destroying you physically?
Rolex. Yeah, robs you of all your money. And then, so is it then which watch brand has the most propensity for buyer's remorse? You dream about it. You dream about
I remember
it, and then you
Cirrus
buy
watches,
it, and then you regret
not all of them,
it.
but Cirrus cases were very sharp.
Okay.
Very, very sharp.
Yeah, something with pointy lugs.
I mean, look, there's so many sharp lugs and bracelet link
Radiomere,
edges out
wire
there.
lugs.
So many.
Omega has been suggested that Omega bracelets have very sharp edges.
We have to stop mentioning Omega. Way too much free advertising. Even though we're like crap talking them, okay? They're getting too much out of this, folks.
Okay,
too much.
Nightmare on Elm Street. I think, yeah, it's the brand with the most buyer's remorse. Which brand comes with the most buyer's remorse? You dream about buying it, then you own it, and it just turns out it's a bit of a nightmare. It's a bit of a dog.
Well, no one bought a second Daniel Wellington.
Okay. Yeah.
Stuff like that.
That terrifies teenagers. Yeah, that could be a
candidate. Daniel Wellington is the winner for Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm happy with that.
Okay.
And then in the slightly more comedic section, and finally we had Gremlins. Okay, so there is a remake on its way, apparently, allegedly.
Something around don't feed them after midnight. It's like a perpetual calendar. Don't set it like between those hours, and you know.
Yeah, we didn't deal with that aspect of the whole thing about when you're allowed to set calendars in relation to how close it is to midnight.
So I get. So what's pretty until you need to operate it?
It's also like a perpetual calendar.
So let's think. Yeah, let's see who's making some perpetual calendars we want to think about.
Tudor, by the way, is being suggested quite educationally as the Nightmare on Elm Street. Tudor, you wish you'd bought the Rolex.
Oh no.
So Gremlins, which watch turns into a nightmare to own? Who's got the biggest servicing, the most disproportionate servicing costs?
Casio ring watch.
I've watched it turns into a nightmare. Don't feed it after midnight. Or no, hold on. I'm sorry, Ariel. We're going back to the Speedmaster. We're going back to Omega. It's all about what? It's all about water resistance. You pay a lot of money for it, and it still has a terrible water resistance. It just goes wrong. That's great. It's all about not getting them wet. Which watch can you not get wet? So this is some
type of minute repeater grand complication.
I was
Don't mess with it after midnight, and you can't get it wet.
Like the ultra thin, like Piagets and Bulgaris, it's you know, it's interesting and adorable. Look how thin it is. It's like a credit card, and it's all nice. But then when you bugger it up by sitting on it or something, or however you break those things, it becomes an absolute nightmare when you send it back and they realize that you haven't just screwed up the case and the movement are all integrated, and you've basically destroyed the whole watch.
Yes, or something with ceramic
Patek Grandmaster Flash or whatever they called it.
The Patek Grandmaster chime.
I don't think you can get that thing wet.
Gremlin of watches is the Patek Philippe Grandmaster chime. I like that. Good stuff. Excellent. So next week, in honor of Jay Leno, we're going to do musicals, but in honor of Jay Leno and his hometown, or his family hometown, we're going to this is his golden casket that are a range of sweets made by a company called Buchanan's that are based in
Mm.
Greenock. So you can get various types. We're going to ask the question, which watch or watch brand is most like one of these flavors? So you can go and choose anything you like from the Golden Casket website. They also have a sweet called Millions. I don't know if these make it to the States. These are all their brands, and a thing called Hoik balls. If you wish
That's
to,
how that's pronounced.
yeah, Hoik. How would you pronounce that if I hadn't
Are those
just said
snail
it?
shells? What is that?
What are these? What is the flavor? I see just a tartan. What is this thing?
These are peppermints. These are like peppermint sweets.
They're not
That
designed to
color?
crack your teeth in half.
Well, they are designed to do that, but most Scottish people don't have their own teeth, so it doesn't really matter. And then Fudgy-Wudgy, if you'd like a bit of Fudgy-Wudgy.
Oh gosh.
And
Milk
milk
moose.
chews.
It's milk moose, Rick. It's not Fudgy-Wudgy.
Milk chews, because this is how we consume our milk in Scotland. We consume our milk in the form of sugar-laden sweets rather than out of a bottle. So you can choose from the Golden Casket website, or you've got various bagged confectionery from Iron Brew Humbugs. And
I'm going
Pastel.
with scrumptiously sticky. That
Scrumptiously
is an
sticky.
old rubber strap which is coming apart.
There we go. The scrumptiously sticky treacle toffee. So, in honor of Jay Leno and his maternal hometown of Greenock, we will be which watch or brand is most like a sweet you can find on goldencasket.co.uk.
What's a treacle?
You don't know what treacle is? You have treacle. In the
Am I
States.
supposed to?
No, we
Do you not
don't.
have? You must have treacle in the United States, surely.
Maybe.
Treacle tart. And
Is this
what do you cover?
scrumptious?
Yeah, but is treacle not what you put on apples during Halloween? No, this is
It's giving me
no,
nothing,
toffee.
Rick. What do you
Do you know what a toffee apple is?
Sure.
Oh, like
Is that not
Caramel?
treacle
Like
you use? Yeah, caramelized. It's not treacle used for it. Maybe it's not. I've never made a
I
toffee
think
apple.
we just call it caramel.
yeah, like
Yeah,
caramel apple.
It's been suggested we should do Tunnocks, but Tunnocks isn't where Jay Leno's from. Tunnocks are from Uddingston. So we can do Tunnocks later on. But we're doing Buchanan's just now. So, and yeah, you can do a side exploration of what treacle actually is. It's like, is it molasses? Do you have molasses?
we do have
We know what
molasses.
molasses
Is
is.
molasses
Can
the
you get
same-
Buchanan's to make a new flavor?
I wonder if
Something watch
molasses
related?
I wonder if molasses is the same as treacle. I wonder if that's just the American term for it. I'll need to do some research
I think
and
it's
see.
just caramel.
No, it's caramels.
Though the
It's all sugar.
primary
It's all
difference is
sugar.
that treacle is a naturally occurring syrup from the sugar making process, whereas caramel is made by deliberately cooking and browning sugar.
Right. Okay. So there you
Okay.
go.
Well, I just wanted you to know
Excellent.
I didn't know that term because I'm not candy loving
Scottish.
enough.
How do you
Can't
use it in
tell
a
enough.
sentence? Like, do you put your treacle in your?
Well,
Can
treacle's
I
sticky.
give you a little treacle sticky?
Okay, that's going to only go bad. No, you would use treacle as either the description for what treacle is. It comes in a tin. I'll bring a tin onto the show for next week. Or you might use treacle to describe something that's really sticky or slow moving. It's the slowest treacle.
Has this been used all the
something like
time? I've just not been paying attention. I
just-
just
yeah,
feel that
you're-
this has
you're-
never
yeah.
come
No,
up.
I think we just use molasses. Like you're slow as molasses.
Yeah, I think you need to put the word treacle into your next watch review for something. That's your word of the week for your next
No,
watch
someone's just
review.
gonna politely inform me I misspelled trickle.
Trickle. Anyway, so that's for next week.
I know how to integrate it though. I'm going to use it. I figured it out. I have to wait
Good.
for the right
Okay.
Turbo watch though.
Right, okay, that's good. Right, let's do, in conclusion, a couple of hit miss maybes. Let's start off, although David is now
Finally,
away.
the watch part of the
The
conversation.
watch part of the conversation. We'll start with this.
After sitting through talk about moons and molasses, here you go. Watch us.
I think our watch content's actually increasing, you know. I have
Bar
no way
was
of proving
low.
that.
We're
Bar
now
was
starting
pretty
1
low.
hour into the show. We're finally talking about some
Talking about
watches.
Okay, so the
We
car
teased enough
enthusiast
times.
choice,
You
teased-
thought
yeah,
we were
this
talking about Omega. Little did you know we were not.
intro is now. We've finished the intro. We can now do the clap for starting the show. A car enthusiast choice is Chopard Mille Miglia GTS Power Control. I actually am looking at this. I'm thinking, have we not? We might actually already have spoken about this watch, but I do like this. I do think that Chopard and this particular partnership do produce some nice watches every year. What do you think about this one?
What is the price? I think this
What is the
came up
price?
briefly, and there was like maybe this and a chrono or something. And I remember one was a solid value, and then the other left me scratching my head a bit.
The price of this is, as we go down the article, David clearly likes this watch because he's put a lot of text on the article. Come on, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Oh, we're going. 8,350, 250 individually numbered pieces. That's not cheap. Not cheap. Does that impact what you think about this watch?
I mean, it's still
a-
cheaper
it's a-
than other stuff. You know, the new
Mm.
normal of watch pricing is not something I'm per se comfortable with, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. And I think my only issue with this watch is while I like it, this is an aging platform. I mean, it's got to be 15 years, maybe 20 years old now. The overall platform of this watch, yes, this movement didn't exist then, and that's new. So it's legible, but it's big. And I don't know. I mean, you know, when Chopard revised the Mille Miglia, did some tweaks to it, I had some faith that this was coming. So they promised it is. It's probably in the works. But for me, it's hard to get excited about it when I know that some type of revision to this whole platform is coming really around the corner. But it's handsome. The movement is very cool. I know it seems a bit redundant, but I love automatic watches with a power reserve indicator in it. I just like it a lot. I think that 12 looks nice. The black lume against that kind of copper tone pops. So it's got a lot of contrast. So if you're okay with the case size and stuff like that, it's a really nice product.
And it says chronometer on it, which, thanks to Watches 101 from last week, everybody
know what
knows
that
what
is.
it means. We know what that is. So, okay, is it a hit? Is it a miss? Or is it a maybe? 1, 2, 3, go. It's a hit. It's a maybe from
It's
Ripley.
maybe, but more on the hit side for me.
More on the hit side. The Ariel hit from you. You're muted.
Sorry, all my cards said miss, so I had to find the hit.
So it's a hit from Ariel. What makes it an essential hit, Ariel?
Again, these are just satisfying. It's the type of watch that like you could not wear for 5 years and pick it up. You're like, oh, I remember this. Early Mille Miglias that sort of used source movements were not great watches. They just were kind of crappy. I'm sorry. But Chopard's gotten a lot better. This has really nothing to do with that. You know, this is that Mille Miglia racing heritage, which like very car inspired, you know, fuel gauge style power reserve indicator. Obviously says, you know, a Mille Miglia with 1,000 Miglia right there on the dial. So it's part of that classification. The things I don't like is that there's a lot of other stuff out there kind of like it, but this movement I think adds a new layer to it. I've enjoyed these. I've always wanted one of these. You know, it is a large watch because it was made at a time when people really wanted that size. But I've definitely seen versions of this watch I want far less. That's for me why it's a hit.
Okay, and Ripley, essentially a maybe, but veering towards a hit.
Yeah, I'd like to see it in person. I think just the sizing wouldn't really work well on my personal wrist. And I'd want to see it in person to just sort of see how this coppery salmon adjacent color kind of plays. No, I don't think it's a bad price for the movement. As Ariel mentioned, this without the movement is kind of a very expensive, kind of off the shelf. But I think the orientation of this dial's better than some. Looks like a nice watch. Looks like a fun watch. And they've made a ton of different Mille Miglia pieces over the years, like so many, you could probably fill a book with them. And I like this better than a lot of other ones. So it's a maybe, but if I had to say hit or miss, it'd be a hit.
Cool. Okie dokie. And then a final hit miss maybe for this week's show. Let's go to this article and review by Ariel, Ball Roadmaster M. Okay, hold on a second. How do I read that? Ball Roadmaster M Model A watch review. M Model 8, that doesn't make any sense to me. A mechanical
sure
GMT
doesn't.
alarm watch that glows. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, this is an interesting watch to say the least. There's a lot of cool things this watch does well. I have some reservations about it. a lot of it has to do with my own, just personal taste. It's a very large watch. They lie about how large it is. So if you go on their website, the dimensions do not really accurately define. For example, I think they call it like a 42 millimeter watch. It's like no way. It's like you measure like the rear of the case, like a part of the watch you can't even see. Like
The
that part's
bottom
42.
of the middle case, and it like flares upward with the bezel protruding over it.
Yeah,
it's nowhere near the diameter that is stated on.
So it's very legible at night, less so in the day. There's just a lot of hands going on, right? You have the time, you have the date, you have a GMT hand, and then you have an alarm indicator. There's two crowns, and this movement that I've like never heard of. They apparently make it or have a hand in making it. There's very little information about what they do there. So, there's that. The movement is essentially your standard automatic GMT movement, and then there's this alarm system which is kind of adjacent to it. The alarm system is as it is in many mechanical alarms, where you have a separate spring that you have to wind, and then you line up this hand where the hour hand will go to activate it. So it's not like super precise. It's within about 3 or 4 minutes or so, and you know that when the hour hand of the main time hits it, it'll go off. You can, turn the alarm on and off, and it will quote unquote ring for about 18 seconds there. So I'm not that big of a fan of mechanical alarms because, as I continue to say, they sound like a machine, like slowly dying. It's very sad. It's not the uplifting sound I want to wake up to.
Being alarmed rather than alarmed.
Yeah, this is a lot. Look, there's a ceramic bezel that's two-tone with black and red. It's kind of cool how they did the crystal. Again, it's neat that they have this special movement. So there's like a lot of like cool stuff. And if you go to a watch event, I think this is very important. You go to a watch event, this is gonna be a hit. Everyone's want to play with it, see it. So like you're gonna be Mr. Popular. I just know how you're gonna feel when you're alone and you're like, what am I doing with this?
So is this the answer to the earlier question about the Nightmare on Elm Street, the watch with the most buying regret?
I don't know about that. Look, this is cheaper than that, Chopard that we just talked about. It's not sharp, it's ball weird.
Is this I see we've got an Instagram.
Yeah, I've been trying to do some more videos there. So in the video, you can hear the alarm, obviously.
Let's see if we can hear it. Oh, this is weird. This is like video within video. No, we'll keep going.
I don't know what you're saying. I can't say it, but this was my first one I put on
Instagram. We will
in a while.
Stop sharing that. We'll try and share
experimenting.
The Instagram
name. This is an alarm watch that they make with a new movement that they have.
There we go. So you can check out Ariel to watch on Instagram for an actual handling of the watch and the sound of the alarm. Cool. Okay, so is it a hit? Is it a miss? Or is it a maybe? 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, like a hit, a miss, and a maybe. Oh, we've got one of each. So maybe Ariel.
Like I said, it's one of those watches that I'm not sure what it's an answer to. Like they'll be like, "Oh, but it's a travel watch. You can wake yourself up and have a second time zone." And yeah, that's true. And in theory, it's a good idea. But it's like it's big. It's kind of bulky. I don't understand the larger Roadmaster like collection from Ball. Like it's just there are so many versions of it. And this is the black sheep. This is the absolute black sheep of the entire Roadmaster family, even though at a glance it looks like all the other ones, right? You if you didn't know that this is like the one-off weird one, you're like, how is this not like every other one? But it's larger, it's much more expensive, it's much more complicated. What was the price? Like $6,500? Again, not crazy in the scheme of things, but like at least double the price of your other standard Ball watch. So again, there's a lot of things I like about it, but it's still kind of weird to me.
Yeah, 6,600 USD. Ripley, a miss from you?
Yeah, I mean, for my wrist, that lug to lug, it's a big watch, and the lug to lug does it no favors in terms of mitigating that. It just seems a little bit confused about what they were trying to create with this. The It looks all rugged and like fireman tactical. I don't know what it's going for with this general silhouette and the knobs and crowns and bezels and everything and all the loom.
Roadmastery.
Yeah, Roadmaster. but then you get the alarm where it's like, I don't know if anyone wanted like I don't know if anyone was looking for like a super burly dual crown tritium tube GMT alarm watch. It's sort of the answer to the problem no one asked. I think the movement's interesting. Maybe something a little bit more elegant, or implement the scale 24-hour scale on the dial, so you don't need the bezel, or do something with it. But it just seems a little bit confused about what they were going for, and just were pulling cool things out of a hat and saying yes to put them on the watch until they just ran out of space.
Okay, I like it.
Tell us why.
That's well.
Is it Panerai-esque?
They do well, probably. They do interesting things, Ball. The tritium tube thing is really cool. Maybe that should be next week's 101 on illumination. But the tritium tubes are very cool. I do like an alarm watch. A Vulcane, got one of them. I'm not sure anyone has ever trusted waking up to an important event though to a wristwatch alarm since
only
the
when they had no
60s.
other option.
Yeah, when you had no other option, because it's not really going to. If you've had a late night, it ain't really going to wake you up. You're gonna sleep through it and incorporate the noise into your nightmare and Elm
Once you
Street
go
type
snooze
dreams.
function, there's no going back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That has ruined our life. We now don't need to get up to the alarm. We just snooze it. I think there's a research paper to be done into that on the psychology of the fact that you now have a snooze function. Whereas before, when your alarm went off, you had to get up. That was it.
And I
Commissioned
still do
by
that.
Chaucher Lecoultre Memovox.
Yeah.
When I have to wake up, I set the alarm on my phone, and then I put my phone in an inconvenient place plugged into a charger in the bedroom. So when it goes off, I can't like just hit the button on the Apple Watch. I have to go stand up and get the thing
You have to
that
go get it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well,
You see
there
the
we
alarm?
go.
I saw one long ago. In order to hit snooze, you have to perform a math formula. Like you have to solve a thing.
I like that. I like that. Okay. Right. Well, that is it for this week. Thank you all very much for listening. And if Jay Leno genuinely does listen to this show and Ariel's not just winding him up, then Jay, do suggest which watch you think is most like one of the sweeties from your maternal hometown. You can start off. Send Ariel a voice memo or something. A voice memo from Leno. There we go. That should be a new section. That should be a new section every week. A voice memo from Leno about something. It can be anything. You've heard this show. It can actually be about anything. It doesn't have to be about
I mean,
watches.
Ripley was there. I'm not making this up.
No.
Right,
I was
okay.
gonna say, in earnest, he mentioned you discussing the haggis, and he said, "Come on, enough of that already."
Enough of the haggis already. Well, maybe Jay should come across in January for St Andrew's night, and we will share a haggis together.
Oh God!
There we
What
go.
an invitation!
Haggis and treacle, yay!
Haggis and treacle, yeah, a treacle tart and some haggis and some rumble thumps. Which now that you listen to this show, everybody now knows what that is. So my work here is done, and so is everybody else's. So thank you all very much for listening. And you can hang on for a little bit of extra time if you're listening to the live show. Other than that, we will see you all in a week or so's time. Cheerio. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Good stuff. Yeah, I think Jay coming on the show is just the way to go.
I mean, we just did film a show with him. He's like, "What are you talking about? I just did it."
It's just like
we'll get him on this show. Get him on the.
I like the idea of him like sending
Voicemailing.
like a grainy voicemail.
A great voice
Like
out.
while
So-
he's driving, you hear road noise.
yeah.
It's like
So
angry, he's cursing a
think we need
lot.
I think we need to. I think we need to make that happen. So that's your job for this week. David's unboxing, running gag, and we need a voice memo from Leno. So there you go. That's that. That's your job. Should you choose?
That's
to
what that
accept it.
feedback is. Talk more about food.
Talk more about foods. Yeah, but
Is it because it's the morning and you're hungry? Because every show is like
it's about food.
treats, cooked food, candy.
I'm also diabetic. Doesn't help.
Oh gosh, then what are we doing with the what was that fudge thing?
Yep.
The
Fudge.
That can't be
The sticky
nutritious.
fudge.
so
None of
treacle
this
is
good.
treacle is like that is liquid death. That is just
Liquid death.
yeah.
So is there anything other than cooked intestines which is diabetic friendly from your country?
No, well, it's only
Because between
whiskey,
the
which is-
alcohol and the the
sugar.
candies,
Yeah, it's like a diabetic wilderness. It's like that the Aliens film where they go to like the world's most dangerous planet. This is like the world's most dangerous country to diabetics, Scotland.
are you talking about the
That's-
new Aliens
Aliens,
versus
yeah,
Predator Badlands?
Yeah, Badlands, that's the one. Is it
Yeah.
Badlands, that was called. So that's
Yeah, it's really an allegory for living as a diabetic. I understand.
a diabetic in Scotland. It's a review strategy which has not yet been put onto Rotten Tomatoes. The allegory of being a diabetic in Scotland. Maybe that should be a new standard formula. Which event is just an allegory of being a diabetic? Pick your allegory. And what else is an allegory of being a diabetic in Scotland?
Fighting the ocean, like
other impossible situations. There we go. Anyway, that's enough random nonsense for another week. Thank you all very much for joining us on the live show, and we will see you all again soon. Cheery bye.
Bye.